First warning weather brought to you by Boyd County Ford in Ashland.
Coming up tomorrow morning, we'll have all your news and sports headlines from overnight, plus a consumer report segment.
And a great weekend ahead for your 4th of July. It's heating up and clearing out. I'll have your forecast.
We hope to see you tomorrow morning at 5 o'clock.
Now, first warning weather.
It's the kind of thing, hopefully, you only see in the movies.
In fact, the perfect storm does arrive in theaters this weekend, but for one group of fishermen, the script became real life in October of 1991. That's when their boat, the Andrea Gale, was caught off the New England coast for days until the Coast Guard found them. The storm was called perfect because of the weather conditions at the time and how they created it.
At the height of the storm, we had seas significantly greater than 40 feet, sometimes as high as 50 feet high, winds in excess of 100 miles an hour.
And the government forecaster who first described the storm as perfect says to this day it has not been matched. And I read that book about Andrea Gale. It was just incredible to imagine that something so big was happening.
I can't wait to see the movie.
Now you remember the storm.
Well, you know, we were in the middle of a very dry fall here, and this storm, since it missed us, accentuated the dryness, and fall and dryness in our part of the world means brush fires. A very bad late October for brush fires in our area. The smoke so thick back in the fall of 1991, during the storm out, the perfect storm at sea, high school football games were canceled that Friday night because of the thickness of the smoke, the dryness around the storm here, accentuated by the winds blowing around that gale over the ocean. Okay, let's go on to our weather video for tonight. We're going to take you north to Ripley, West Virginia, home of the Mountain State Art and Craft Fair. They're paddle boating out on the lakes right there at Cedar Lakes. And you see the puffy cumulus clouds overhead? Well, in some areas in northern Jackson over toward Roane County, there was a brief shower during the late afternoon. Oh, by the way, let's go back to the Arts and Crafts Fair last year. We started at 90 when the fair opened, and by Sunday, business was way down because the temperature is up near 100. Much better conditions for both vendors and for fairgoers this time around. From 78 today, well, we'll get warm by Sunday at 87, but I think everyone will admit that this year with sunshine is going to be much more comfortable and much better to be out there enjoying. Get out there and enjoy that fair. So it's mid to upper 60s right now. Any showers have now died away in the mountains, and at 87% humidity, as the winds lighten up overnight and the temperature falls into the upper 50s, there'll be some patchy dense fog that will form, especially along the river valley. So there are the light showers that have exited from Beckley. Also showers have moved offshore at Myrtle Beach. That means a decent weekend setting up down at the Myrtle Beach Grand Strand. And for us, decent means we're pushing the clouds away and this huge area of clear skies coming in. So we think we'll have 3 or 4 days of bright sunshine across our area. Bright sunshine that, at least for tomorrow, will be refreshing because of a north wind. 80 degrees will feel very comfortable. Now over the weekend we'll get into a southerly flow, so the temperatures will warm back into the 80s with a ton of sunshine. The only exception in the mountains of West Virginia. The tallest mountains, for example, Canaan Valley, Snowshoe, Hawthorne Valley will hit 75. The lower state parks from Watauga down to Pipestone and Babcock, about 80 by the end of the weekend. So let's pinpoint that forecast. And your first warning report under clear skies, cool temperatures, good sleeping weather overnight. Again, patchy fog to form in the pre-dawn hours from 55 open countryside to 60 downtown. Tomorrow, sunshiny skies with that refreshing north wind. The burn index will be something to be careful about. You won't feel getting a sunburn tomorrow because of the refreshing nature of the air. High temperature, 80 degrees. Weekend forecast, we've got the River Fest in St. Albans, the River Recreation Festival in Gallipoli, Summer Motion over in Ashland, 85 Saturday, 87 Sunday. Well, we'll call it kind of hot as a firecracker. Monday and Tuesday up around 87 degrees. Right now, the long-range call, Tim, by Independence Day night itself, maybe some natural and artificial fireworks. Could be a thunderstorm by that time.
Okay. Hey, thanks, Tony. We'll just have to wait then. Nice weekend. What's as big as 2 football fields and could hold the entire contents of the Library of Congress twice? We'll tell you about the newest supercomputer. Well, do you get a load of this and you thought they were making them smaller now?
A terrifying situation for a 4-year-old boy and an employee in Walt Disney World today.
Sam, they're being held hostage by the boy's father at the Boardwalk Hotel. The man, who claims to be heavily armed, threatened to commit suicide earlier over some type of domestic dispute with his estranged wife. There are unconfirmed reports that his wife of 14 years is an employee at the park. Other guests at the boardwalk apparently didn't know what happened until they saw the SWAT team and the media. Disney officials say guests on the perimeter of the area are free to come and go. The man says he would release the hostages if he gets a chance to speak to his wife and 3 other children.
A pizza delivery woman last seen on the job around midnight last night is found dead this morning. It happened in Washington Courthouse, Ohio. The manager at Pizza in Motion said when the employee didn't return last night, he began calling customers to see if their pizzas had been delivered. When they said no, he called police. Officers are not saying how she died, but they believe she was abducted, robbed, then killed on her delivery route.
You know how many a trillion is? Well, multiply that 12 times, and that's how many calculations the latest IBM supercomputer can do per second. The company is touting it as the fastest computer in the world, but don't expect to go out and buy one anytime soon. The hardware on the computer alone takes up the area the size of 2 basketball courts. It'll be shipped to California and used to protect the nation's nuclear stockpile.
If you have a baby who's starting to get a mouthful of teeth, take a good look at their teething ring. The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission and Whitehall Robbins Healthcare is recalling nearly 500,000 of the rings because they can make a baby choke and vomit. The rings were sold with quarter-ounce tubes of baby Ambisol, and they are yellow rabbit shapes. You can call Whitehall Robbins toll-free at the number on your screen for more information about returning the ring and getting a free Ambisol product. The number is 1-800-525-2607. We'll give that number to you again a little later in the newscast. Insulin shots are an unpleasant part of being diabetic for many people in this country.
Yeah, but now some doctors hope they have a way to do away with the injections. We'll tell you how they plan to do that in Health Matters just ahead. More and more people are getting their health care from HMOs.
That means doctor visits are more affordable for many people, but a new study says the success of your visit is up to you. UCLA researchers found the average time a patient spends with their HMO doctor is about 10 minutes. Women especially may not be addressing major medical needs with their physician. And while reproductive concerns are usually met, the researchers found HMOs are lacking when it comes to preventive care like nutrition, exercise, and mental health counseling. One doctor says the solution is simple. Do your homework.
When we go and buy a car now, all of us know what sticker price is, what invoice is, how to get quotes online. We all do our homework. None of us do our homework when we go to the doctor.
UCLA researchers based their study on responses from a poll of low-income women.
2,000 people a day are diagnosed with diabetes, and expensive treatments and insulin injections often follow. But now doctors have made a discovery they think may eliminate the need for injections. Researchers in Canada have taken cells from the pancreases of cadavers and injected them into the livers of patients with type 1 diabetes. Amazingly, the patients were able to stop using insulin almost immediately. Diabetics with a transplant would still have to take an anti-rejection medication, but the benefits of the procedure outweigh the downside.
Just being able to eat a meal without having to estimate or think about what it was going to do to my blood sugar.
Larger clinical trials will soon take place at the University of Miami.
A lot of people use the blood thinner Coumadin after they've had a heart attack or blood clots. But now some Swedish researchers say the drug may prevent or reduce the risk of cancer. In an 8-year study, they found people who stayed on their prescription for Coumadin longer had less chances of developing cancers of the bladder, kidney, prostate, ovary, and uterus. But a doctor should monitor your intake of this drug because one of the side effects is internal bleeding. By now, we've almost all heard the phrase.
Can you do it, Sam?
What's up?
No, you got to stick your tongue out when you do it.
You know, I've been practicing all night, you know.
Well, that's pretty good anyway. For your first time. We'll see what other people are getting in on the phrase. Trust us, you wouldn't want to suspect some of these people. And we'd like to repeat that number on the teething ring recall. That number's on your screen. It's 800-525-2607.